Patriarca. Born in Soprano, Italy, she is an award-winning author of 12 books, poetry, short fiction, children's literature, and a regular contributor to Italia magazine. Her work is extensively anthologized and appears in numerous documentaries, also adapted for Canadian stage and CBC radio drama. Her books are on the course list of universities in Canada, Italy, and the USA. Italian Woman and Other Tragedies is in its fourth printing and translated into Italian. Gianna is currently working on a novel, children's literature, and has completed another book of poetry, Just Go. She lives in Toronto, Canada. Please help me welcome Gianna Patriarca.
Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm a little taller, eh? I'm a little taller. The knees are totally ornamental, so it took a little while to get up here. But how are we doing? Is that good? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? First of all, thank you very much for coming out. It's a beautiful day, and this is a perfect place to be. I have to tell you that this park here was my babysitter for many, many years. I grew up on that street right there from the time I was a child until I married and moved. And every summer, this park was our babysitter. In the morning, our parents, who went off to factories, would drop all of us kids off here with our little paper bag lunch and pick us up on the way home at 5 o'clock when they got off work. So there's a lot of memory here. This particular area we played soccer in when my knees worked. They don't work anymore, but so it's a very special moment being here. It brings back a lot of memory with a lot of my friends who also grew up in the neighborhood. So I'm going to start with a couple of poems. Since our theme is immigration and refugees, we were some of the very first immigrants who lived here in this neighborhood. And I have some stories, and a lot of them I remember, so I shall not read, I will perform it. How's that? Okay? This one is called Returning. And you know, our big dream as immigrants, especially the Italian immigrants, was to come to Canada, work really, really hard, make lots of money, and then go home. This is home. We haven't gone anywhere. This is where we are. So this poem is based on that theme, returning. We don't discuss the distance anymore. Returning is now the other dream. It's not Italian, it's not Canadian or American. It has lost its nationality. In the 60s, we came in swarms like summer bees, smelling of something strange, wearing that last moist kiss of our own sky. We came with heavy trunks, empty pockets, and a dream. I was one of them. I was tucked away below the sea line on the bottom floor of a ship that swelled and ached. For 13 days, our bellies emptied into the Atlantic. There, where the arms and legs of my doll fell apart into the sea, finding their way back over the waves. My mother's young heart wrapped around me. My sister crying for pane e mortadella. But we held on. 2 more nights on a stiff, cold train headed for Toronto, where the open arms of a half-forgotten man waited. Thank you. Thank you. A lot of the themes in the poetry we've heard are about people in our lives, in our past, and those who have had certainly a lot of influence on us. And for the first 7 years of my life, I was raised by my grandmother. And she died at 91, and I wrote this poem for her. Don't fly away, Piggy. Oh, fly away, it's okay. This is called For Grandma in Bed, Waiting. Your eyes are the wrong color. There's no darkness in them to write about, and pain is always dark. Your smile comes much too easily, and pain never smiles. Yet, I know your heart is bruised. How can 91 years not have bruised your tiny, fading body that gave 8 children to the world and scattered 30 grandchildren like wild flowers in foreign cities? You have come to rest in this suburban bungalow in a room with just one window. You don't always recognize me, but there is something between us. There is the touch of my fingers on your perfect hand. I sit by your bed, not in duty, but in the need of all the stories that flow from you. You take me to your century, and I will miss this journey when you are gone. Thank you. I just recently had published selected works of my 13 books called This Way Home, and it's really difficult to choose poems in a book that has 13 books. It's like, which child do I choose? Which one do I love the most, you know? Well, I only have one kid in real life, so it's I've got to choose one of these, right? This one is called Reasons. It really doesn't matter now. The reasons we left the fields and all those towns cradled in the gentle arms of green hills. The reasons we left the stone houses where we laughed in during the cold winters when God was a fireplace. The reasons we left the hot summers when finding water was a miracle. And we thanked the saints, and we thanked the priests, and we lit the candles. And when the bells sounded on Sunday morning, we walked miles to thank the Mass. It really doesn't matter now. If no one brings flowers to Grandpa's grave, he never cared much for flowers anyway. And it won't matter if after you're gone, I don't remember your pain. You have always said that I am insensitive, but I'm part of this city now, the one that gives less than a damn about any of our reasons. It is the month of May, yes? Thank you. And I have a short poem that was inspired by my mom. It's called May, Maggio. The trees have finally decided to laugh the way my mother laughed before the changes, the new country, before she woke up to the dark stranger in her bed, before she recognized my sister didn't care for ribbons. This month, the flowers appear most beautiful. This month, I can put aside anything because I am drunk with trees. I'm not sure if anyone here understands Italian. If you do, can you kind of like go like this? Yeah? Okay, so maybe I won't I won't do an Italian. Well, maybe I will. You know what I'll do? Pardon? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll give it to you in Italian and then I'll give it to you in English. How's that? Okay. Oh, sí, es la misma. Sí. Entiendo un poquito de español, mi usted. You know, language is always an issue, and our first languages were, you know, the dialects that we spoke with our grandparents. And my mother died at 93, and when she died, my language died with her, the language I spoke with her. So this is a poem called Language. When my mother died, so did our language. The one we spoke each day at the kitchen table, each night by the hum of the television, on the telephone between visits, the language that dropped from the open window above her garden while she pruned and tied and watered. It was an old language, perfect for the prayers she whispered and the songs she sang. It lived between us like that child we both love. Now I must slide my fingers over this miracle of technology to hear her voice once more. This new world has no need for old languages. But while I am here, I will hold it tight and safe in the limbo of my gut. Thank you. And in Italian, for the Italian lady there, so that I can remember my language, it's called Lingua. Quando è morto mamma, è morta anche la nostra lingua. Quella che parlavamo ogni giorno, insieme, ogni giorno al tavolo, in cucina, ogni sera sotto il rumore della televisione, al telefono. Quella lingua che scappava dalla finestra e arrivava in giardino mentre lei piantava, allacciava, annaffiava. Era una vecchia lingua, perfetta per le preghiere che recitava e le canzoni che cantava. Una lingua che viveva fra noi come quella bimba che amiamo. Ora devo scivolare le dita su questo miracolo di tecnologia per sentire la sua voce. Questo nuovo mondo non ha bisogno di vecchie lingue, ma mentre sono qui la tengo sicura e stretta nel limbo del mio ventre. And maybe I'll just, I'll end with a poem because we went over a little over time and I don't want to take time away from the lovely dancers. My book, Italian Women and Other Tragedies, somebody once said to me, how dare you call that book Italian Women and Other Tragedies? We're not tragic. And I said, well, it's my book, lady. You buy, you know, you go and write your own. But anyway, this is the title poem, and it's called Italian Women. These are the women who were born to give birth. They breathe only leftover air and speak only when deeper voices have fallen asleep. I have seen them bleed in the dark, hiding the stains inside them like sins, apologizing. I have seen them wrap their souls around their children and serve their own hearts in a meal they never share. Thank you for listening, for being here. God bless you. Have a great summer.
Please, a big, big, big round of applause for Gianna. So that would be concluding our poetry segment for today. thank you so much for all of the talented poets for showing your work.